One of the biggest questions that we get asked as publishers is, can you get my book out there? Talking about distribution, and this is a misunderstood area. We're going to talk about a hot topic about Amazon and KDP versus IngramSpark, and we're going to show you behind the scenes what publishers say they're doing when it's actually the distributor. If we haven't met yet, my name is Kathy Sanders. This is my husband, Andy Sanders, and we're the founders of Harbor Light Content Group. We're making videos to inform you about the publishing industry. We're not lawyers, we're not giving legal advice, but we are book publishers who have been doing this for almost a couple of decades. You've been doing it for over 2 decades. And we just have a lot of information and knowledge to share with you to help you in your writing journey. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Amazon. Now, Amazon is the world's largest online book retailer, not actually distributor, but a real retailer. And they have what they call Amazon KDP. It's a self-publishing platform. Many of you are probably aware of it. Many of you may have your books up on KDP. This is mostly print on demand. And this is going to be best for Amazon sales pretty much exclusively. So if you're only looking to sell your book on Amazon, nowhere else, then you could stick with KDP. It's just fine. Ingram Content Group is one of the world's largest printers and distributors. They supply bookstores, libraries, schools, online retailers, churches, wholesaler clubs, and other distributors. For a long time, they were operating through what they call lightning source. So for publishers or people who were, independently publishing their books, you could get an account with lightning source. Now in the last, I believe 10 to 12 years, something like that, is when they came out with IngramSpark. You can get an account there. Anyone can start an account and print your books and distribute. And the big difference between IngramSpark and KDP is Ingram is going to distribute to a whole lot more retailers. What we encourage people to do is to use both Amazon and IngramSpark, try to use them in tandem together. Here's the thing you got to watch out for though with IngramSpark, because from my knowledge, you do not have an actual rep through the basic IngramSpark account. They have some different levels and things like that, but the basic one that anyone can have, all they have is email support. So if you call in to Ingram and you get somebody on the phone, they're going to say they're from IngramSpark. Who you're actually talking to is a sales rep. It's not actually a customer service rep. There's a big difference there. So I had a client recently, just a month ago, he contacted me. He showed me a screenshot. He said, yeah, I got IngramSpark on the phone. I got to talk to somebody, and I was like, wow, I don't even get somebody on the phone. And I've got, I'm a publisher and I can't get somebody on the phone. I have to email. He sent me some screenshots. He said, they said they can do this for me. Do you think this is worth it? And what they were trying to do is sell him a marketing package. So they might make you feel like they're a customer service rep, but what they're really doing is trying to get you to buy one of their marketing packages. Now, if you want to do some extra marketing, that might be beneficial for you. For my client, it was just an extra thing that he didn't really need because he already has a large platform. He already has people working on his behalf. So it wasn't something that was going to benefit him. So when it comes to KDP, let me just give you one little tip here, because this is something that we find is like someone gets their book up on KDP and they start selling it. And the more we ask them, the more we realize they don't have an actual author page filled out. Like, you will have a link to an author page if you have a book on Amazon, but if you don't realize that it's there, you can actually fill in that information, put your bio up there, connect it with other things. Like if you have other books that you've written, fill it with information that people can find out more about you. They can read about you, your life, and that can really help you out as an author. All right. Okay. Yeah, you just look like a lump sitting there. Behind the scenes, what publishers say they're doing and what it's actually
Okay.
Let me get some coffee.
Going back to Ingram Content Group, I was introduced to Ingram Content Group at a trade show in the year 2000. I met some of the actual Ingram family. They're out of Tennessee. I believe Mr. Ingram passed away. His wife took it over. They are very active in Tennessee, very active in politics. And they also have a base over in Texas and also California. But for those of you that don't realize how big Ingram is, remember Charlotte's Web, like the really fat spider right there in the center of Charlotte, the web? Ingram is Charlotte's Web, like it's Charlotte. So if you explode Charlotte and blow her up, then all distribution crashes and burns, because every small distributor, every large distributor in the world communicates directly with Ingrams. As Ingram goes, so does the entire book distribution system. That is how big they are. Additionally, if you can get yourself involved with Ingram through the Spark program, as Kathy was talking about, go back years ago when we had a direct publishing contact, we had a rep, and it made it so much easier as a publisher. Now, that's not there unless you have so many books and so much stuff happening. They got different levels, and they've tailored it many different ways. If you go into Ingram Content Group, if you get into IngramSpark, you still get to go to Amazon because they feed Amazon directly. Okay, so keep in mind, it's for us, it's not Amazon or Ingram. It's both. You really need to be in both, because Ingram's going to get your book in communication with the bookstores. They're going to get your book in communication with other distributors. We had a large book project, for example. They helped work a deal with Kurong. Kurong is the largest Christian distributor over in Australia, and they bought 1,500 of our books on a book project we were working with another author, and they put them on the end caps of all their bookstores and stuff. And so they have salespeople that are pushing that book to try to get it out there, to push your project out there. And also, if you work with Ingram, go in there. It's easy to set up. You get direct printing and you get all the royalties to you. You don't get a middleman. That's why we send somebody there. So you don't have to go to a self-publisher to set that stuff up anymore like it used to be years ago. Ingram kind of blew that out of the water. So you get direct printing just like we do. You can order one book or 1 million copies. There's no limit. You can go right online 24/7. You don't have to go through a publisher. Instead of the publisher taking some royalties and then giving you part of the royalties as the contract would normally split it or whatever they do, that just goes right into your bank account. A lot of authors don't realize there's just a basic supply chain. So typically, really simple here. You go from the author, obviously, who owns the book, then it goes to the publisher, or from the author, it goes to the printer, either or. Keep in mind, these printers are either 3 or 4 different types of systems, all comprised as a printer. That's a whole different topic. If you've ever been into a book printing distribution system, it's amazing. We got tours of one. Massive machines. They print these books, and these printers contract with distributors. Okay, now keep in mind, Amazon and also other distributors have what's called warehousing. Warehousing is very important. So if you can get into warehousing and systems where they have warehousing, it makes it more enticing for retailers, bookstores, and other to buy those books, because they're right there warehoused, and you don't have to print 25 of them or 50 of them. They're just right there. They're going to be offering a sweeter deal to get those books off of the warehouse platforms. Warehousing is a whole game changer. From there, they're the ones supplying the retailers, the bookstores, the libraries, and things like that. You don't make a lot of money on libraries. It is good to get them in there. It's nice to have. But all of that goes to the purpose of the reader. And so Ingram's is going to put more time and effort into getting your book out there. Probably a little bit more time than Amazon will. However, I think 60+% of all books sold in the United States are through Amazon. 60% of all ebooks are through Amazon, but you also have the other 40% that's out there. So suppose you're a publisher, you're starting out. I want to talk to you for a moment. And if you're not a publisher, still stay tuned, because this is important. If you don't want to go direct to Amazon, or you don't want to go directly to Ingram, they've got their own perks. There's some other distributors out there worth looking into, okay? You do have Simon & Schuster distribution services. Simon & Schuster is huge. You also have IPG. I've talked with them. I have other publishing friends that work with them who love them. They have a bunch of salespeople that really push these books. Independent Publishers Group. They also have Cardinal Publishers Group, and then we've also worked directly with Anchor Distribution. Now, Anchor Distribution is owned by Whitaker House, and they contract, and I believe they owned or used to own Bethany Press. So those three are a triangle there. If you're working with Bethany Press, they can do all kind of specialty prints, all sizes, all shapes, all colors, all designs. They work directly with Anchor Distribution. Anchor Distribution is more from the Christian point of view. They also have a sales team as well. There's another one I want to talk to you about too, another one called Lakeside. You'll hear more about them because they're getting more aggressive. And these specific distributors specialize on working directly with smaller, medium-sized, and large publishers to get them out there, meaning that they have sales reps that will pitch your book as a publisher, all of your books, to retailers and buying agents and things like that. And so there's a different dimension there that's a perk if you're also a publisher. Many authors will ask us, hey, can you get my book in trade shows? Can you get my book in trade shows? I don't want to drum it down because it's important. I don't know if you've ever gone to a trade show. If you have gone to a trade show, or if you work in the industry and go to trade shows, let us know. Let us know your experience. The trade shows I've been to, they're amazing. They're a lot of fun. They're book trade shows. So authors ask a lot about it, and then sometimes they will pay the vanity publishers or the self-publishers a lot of money. I've been told it's a lot of money for them to take your book and put in that trade show. I want to talk to you about my last experience with the trade show. When I went into the trade shows, you would see all these people, books, new book companies, the big ones that's been around forever, the Zondervan, the Simon Schuster, the Hatchets, you name them, taking up complete sections. But you also see back in the back 40. Do you know what I'm talking about? This is so far back there, they have like one little light over the entire booth section. This was way back in the back 80. That's where the vanity publishing houses are. When I was there, we had these people. I'm not getting involved with politics, but you had Glenn Beck. You had Michael Moore. Then you had senators. I believe Hillary Clinton was there also. You had the one guy in the era, Purpose Driven Life, for those of you that read Christian stuff. And you had some NFL players. You had some basketball players. When they would do their booth signings, you would have lines wrap all the way around like a snake, all the way around other places. You'd have security telling people where to go. You couldn't get through the lines. That's where everybody wanted to be. So you're competing against that. And then way back in the back 80, we can probably call it the back 100, you had the vanity booths where you pay all this money to have your book, like in a Walmart store, on a rack somewhere. I went over there because I just wanted to see it for myself. I have a picture, but I can't find it. And there was a young girl, probably in her 20s. She was on her phone. This was like day 2. She was on her phone looking down, and she was just typing away. She did not even acknowledge me. This is one of the biggest vanity self-publishing companies where you pay a lot of money to be at the trade show. And I had to acknowledge her, and she just looked up and said hi, and she was back playing on a game or whatever she was doing. I was the only one walking around there. And I had small talk with her, which she didn't care. I said, so are you the only one here? She goes, yeah, they just hire someone to sit here pretty much. No one really comes back here. So just let that sink in for a moment. When trade shows occur, you've got the big companies, the medium-sized companies, they're brokering deals. The company that I worked for, which was Charisma, when I went to one trade show with them, they were already brokering deals before we even got to the table, before we even got to the trade show. And there was one deal I remember that was so big, it basically took the entire section we were sitting in. It was massive. They had to find chairs from other people and other places. Trade shows are good, but if you're a first-time author, if you're going through a self-pub, if you're going through a vanity, I would not pay a lot of money to have someone display your book. Now, you can give me comments on it, give me your thoughts. I would recommend going to a trade show, though. You would get more done going booth to booth to booth and just seeing the environment before you put any money into it. But I'm specifically saying if a self-publisher wants to charge you even $300 to display your book at a trade show, you are wasting your money. Do not do it.
So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a self-publisher vanity website, and we're not picking on this one. They have their information right online for anybody to see, anybody to find. So what I'm just going to do is point out the different things that they show that they're doing with their publishing plan, and I'm just going to point out the areas that are actually the distributor doing this and not them. So let's share my screen here. So we're looking at Xlibris, and we're just going to go down the line here. through their publishing plan. And you've got to watch out for these vanity publishers, and they're going to tell you things that they're doing that they call it marketing or distribution. And some of these things Ingram just does for you automatically. So we're not going to pick on anything else today, but the things that deal with distribution. So here's post-publication features and registration, worldwide book distribution and online listing. If you go straight to IngramSpark, it's going to go worldwide online distribution and online listing. That is IngramSpark. And this is Ingram Content Group is who they're listing it through. So you can go to IngramSpark and do all of these things directly. You don't have to pay a middleman for printing. You don't have to have them take a cut out of your royalties. You can do this all and keep all of your royalties, pay the same price that the printer is having to pay for the cost of your books. Now, of course, the things that say the Xlibris bookstore, that's their thing. Google and Amazon book search. So the search inside, the see inside with Amazon. In IngramSpark, that's just a little box that you check. Yes, I want that. Doesn't cost a thing. All you do. Now with Google search inside, that is something that you can set up by yourself. It is called the Google Play Partner Program, and you can create an account with Google Play, join their partner program, upload your title the same way that you would upload it at KDP, the same way that you would upload it at IngramSpark. You can upload it to Google Play. You can sell your ebooks there. And the cool thing about Google Play is not only do you have a see inside option that you can allow people to look at a certain percentage of your book, but you can also have a page there that lists all of the places that it's available online. Google's going to gather that information for you, and they're going to put it right on that page. So think about the Google Play Partner Program. You can do that yourself. So the Barnes & Noble See Inside, I'm pretty sure that that is going to go through Ingram as well. If not, Barnes & Noble may have a way that you can sign up and do that yourself as well. Now we're going to come down here to, they've got the Set Your Own Price program. So if you click on this, they charge you $500 to be able to set your own price, to be able to change your price when you want to change your price, to be able to raise it or lower that. Now, if you've used KDP, you know that that's simple to change your price right there. And on IngramSpark, you request to change your price. You don't have to pay $500 to do that. You can do that anytime you want. And then another thing that I wanted to point out here that they charge you for is their bookstore returnability program. So that other one was $499. That's $500 extra you're paying. $749 to make your book returnable. So a lot of publishers don't want to deal with returned books. Now, if you have one of their higher up programs, your bookstore is returnable for 12 months or 24 months, but you're also paying $10,000 for the expert program. And we'll get into some of these other things that they're charging you for in another video, because you can end up paying a whole lot of money for things that you don't really need, or you're not getting what you really need, like editing, things like that are really important. So those are the things I wanted to point out with vanity publishers, with self-publishers. When you see a site like this where all the prices are online, they're all right there for you to see, you've got to really, really, really pay attention to what it is exactly that you're buying, what you're paying for, and what are you not paying for that you need to have, and they're not offering that to you for the price. If this has been helpful, make sure you subscribe, leave us a comment. We would love to hear your feedback. We would love to hear your experience with distribution, with trade shows, with any things that we have been talking about. Thanks so much for watching, and God bless.